Please stand for the pledge. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Today is March 2nd, 2023. This is the Environmental Conservation Board. We have an agenda that we're going to follow, and the first item is MK Realty, Route 6 and Old Route 6 site plan. Can you please state your name and who you're here to represent?
Good evening. Adam Thyberg, Insight Engineering Surveying, Landscape Architecture, PC, here representing MK Realty. The applicant is requesting an extension of the wetland permit. All of the other permits that were approved have been maintained and are current at the moment. And on
And
February...
what permits would those be?
Those would be our sewer permit, our DEP sewer permit, our DEC SWIP, the DOT, and our general permit coverage for construction activities. And the planning board reapproved the project at the February 9th meeting.
To 2025. I mean, we've extended this permit so much I've run out of places to write.
Right. So again, you know, the other permits are current. The planning board did just reapprove the project. There's been no change in the plans. There's no change on the site. I've been there. There's been no activity, no change, and no change in the proposed project.
Have they re-flagged the wetlands lately? When was the last time the wetlands were re-flagged?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, so as a condition to the board, as a condition to the extension of the permit, I would want the wetlands reflagged, and I would like a report on that. And then, as part of the permit process, I want to add some wetland markers on the northeast corner of the property every 100 feet from the town. That one, put this permit in, I want to add in, any plans for this to start, or what are we doing?
The applicant continues to seek a potential buyer for the property.
So where the proposed building is, this area right here, I would like wetland markers on both sides of well, that's the brook, so I would like it along this side of the...
On the property side.
On the property side, every 100 feet.
Okay.
So that won't really require a change to your plans here, but you should, my suggestion is that you
Update the map.
update or he can probably provide a letter to the file indicating that he would do that, instead of updating the actual plans since they were approved by the planning board.
Okay. So just for the board's knowledge, we have a list of the permits that he has. Do you have the approval letters for these, that they were extended?
We do, yes.
Are they part of the file?
They should be on file with the planning board.
Okay, can we get a copy for our files, please? Could you
Yep.
please give a copy to Rose?
The actual deliverables on the flagging and the
That you
markers,
can,
that'll be,
within
that
a
needs to be
month?
done within a month?
Well, the flagging is done, the flagging, right, but the markers themselves are done after the construction is done. So you're just adding a note into our file indicating that that's going to happen.
Okay. Okay. So you'll need a memo or something stating
Right.
that we're going to provide the markers
Well,
at
I'm
the
gonna put
at the
it on
close
the
of
permit
construction.
here. 4 is that upon completion, markers on the northeast corner every 100 feet.
Okay.
Entire length of the property.
Okay. And the flags need to be set
Now,
now. They don't need to be added to the map,
no, but you can send something in writing that the flags
indicating that
were
it has been
done.
flagged.
Right. And you'll have to include them on the site plan anyway, when you start to do construction.
Right, of course. Yeah.
Was there any changes in any of the applications, changes to your plans with any of the reapproved applications as of late?
No.
Any of the latest ones? Planning board, there was no changes to?
No
from the
changes.
planning- Okay.
And what are you looking for, a 1-year or a 2-year extension?
What we'd like to do, and I think what was done previously, was to have it run concurrent with the approval of the site plan.
Okay. What's that, the top, if I go from north to south, it's from, what's the top, the northeast corner, where we want to put the markers? Yeah, so what would that area be known as? If I'm looking at the, oh, look at this drawing.
Eastern side of the property?
No, I want to put an ID, I want to, if there's a grid mark, there's no grid here. So I guess it's gonna be from 57 Avenue Corp. So what I'm trying to do is this. So, property from,
Where the wetland intersects the property line.
right, 57 Brewster Avenue to Old Route 6. Okay, every 100 feet. And what's the length of that property?
We've got 234 there, and another 50 there, so like 285.
So you're looking at 3, let's say 4 total.
You said every 100 feet, right?
Oh, so that's 300, so it's 3, but 280, it's, 2 ends in the middle, so,
We'll have 3,
And one in the middle?
100, and then an extra one here.
yeah, make it 4, total 4, okay? Okay, and no other changes to the plans, right? Okay, so do I have a motion to grant an extension to permit number 844 for the period from March 15th, 2023 to March 14th, 2025, for 2 years with the following conditions. 1, the site is reflagged, and number 4 above of the conditions is add Town of Carmel wetland markers along the northeast corner of the property from 57 Brewster Avenue to Old Route 6 every 100 feet, total 4 each, plus copies of the approved permits for the file. And do I have a motion?
So moved.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay?
Thank you.
And you'll send something to Rose, right, after you reflag it? You have 30 days. All right? Oy vey.
Is this
Next,
next one?
next one. I think they killed trees doing this one. Okay, next up is New York City DEP West Branch Auxiliary Dam, 34 Drewville Road, site plan, referral board, planning board referral, Please state your names and who you're here to represent.
Sure. My name's Paul Costa. I'm with New York City's Bureau of Engineering, Design, and Construction. Go ahead, you can introduce yourself.
Eric Leclerc, I'm consulting firm CDM Smith, representing the applicant.
And just in case, and that's Linda Singh. She's the Assistant Deputy to DEP, working with me.
Were you guys at a left rack?
No, we actually work out of Eastview. Eastview office, we have an office up here.
Okay.
We're up here. But our headquarters, yeah, is Left Rack. So, if I could, real quick, this project, I'm not sure how familiar you are with it, but we've been, for the last couple of years, we've actually been talking to, you know, the town engineer, and the town code enforcer, and we've been talking about this project just in terms of, you know, obviously what the goals are, and then working out details like the traffic control, coordination with the other offices in the town, basically coordinate the whole project. But we've been before the planning board, and here we are today because there are both tree removals and there are wetlands on the site. So if I could be, I'm going to turn it over to Eric in a second, but just to give you an idea of what the whole project is about, it's this one area, if you could point to it, there's one area up at the roadway, up at the top of the dam, where the roadway drainage and the erosion has created an instability because it's actually got built up and it's too steep. So that little local area is unstable and there's erosion. It's not any kind of an effect on the dam or the stability of the dam and any Broadway. It's a very localized erosion right up at the roadway. So the only way for us to alleviate it, and we'll go through some drawings to show you, but basically we're adding more material to the front of the dam as a first phase, and then coming back the second year and rebuilding the roadway. But we'll go through that real quick with the slides. I can turn these over, Eric.
Sure, so as Paul mentioned, just some real quick items. The items of work, the widening of Route 6 by a couple of feet along the crest of the dam.
Can I ask a quick question? This is the dam up here by,
Road is right here, and then our shared facilities up to the past it.
So this is the auxiliary dam, the one that's at the intersection of Drewville Road and Route 6.
That's Route 6. The dark
Yes,
dark road up there is
Yeah,
Route
that's
6.
Route 6, and that's Drewville Road.
You drive on it to get here from Carmel.
So the
Trying
main
to
dam is
picture
close.
where it is.
I just passed it, it's like a big shaft building.
Here,
Is it by the hospital?
Going
There's a
into
former,
Carmel.
Former
That's right.
landfill, right at the top
Here.
of the building.
there's a big
Oh,
facility
yeah, I know that
there.
facility, yeah.
Right, yeah, the old dump is right there.
Right, this is where,
So-
there's
It's this road right here.
it's that road, yeah, we're on
this
Route
is the dam.
6. Yeah, I know it, okay. Now I know
Drewville
where I
Road is the
am.
one that goes up,
Got
that's
it.
fine.
So the widening part, the dark gray there, that's Route 6. We're gonna widen that slightly as part of the project. The portion in green there, where is the downstream face of the dam, where Paul mentioned we're gonna be adding fill to stabilize that local area, but since it's at the top.
Was it an earthen dam?
It's an earthen dam, yes, with a concrete core, concrete rubble core embedded within it. And then, so that's there. In addition to that, we're doing some drainage improvements, to collect seepage that comes through the earthen portion of the dam, and drain that away properly. And also, will be, as Paul mentioned, there's some issues with the roadway drainage washing over the crest at the top of the dam, causing some erosion. We're gonna collect that and put it down into a bioretention swale down at the base of the slope before that works its way out off the site.
Did you guys start any work over there recently? Because I've seen like clearing done over there or something. Was there any work done there?
No, if it's clean, it could have been done by operations for their own reasons, but
No,
nothing
just-
as part of a capital
Okay.
project yet.
Every time we were out there was contributing activity, but we couldn't
Drilling.
Yeah,
Drilling.
yeah,
We've had
we're
been
drilling.
across that.
And these next, just like a little more detail, maybe this could show
It's a
you
while
what's going. This will give you a little bit more of an idea. Here's the top of the roadway, you know, here's that, top's gonna be really built up here, and here's the material we're gonna be adding to that face of the dam. So we'll keep rolling them up the way up, one more stable slope, make the improvements up here, and then this will be done in the first year, we'll talk about. Second year, we're coming and redo the whole thing, so it's gonna have a whole new roadway. up
Was
top.
it a 2-year job? 2-year
It's
project?
about two, you figure 2.5 year total, but one full season, doing the dam
You're
work.
doing one contract or multiple
One
contracts?
One contract, he's coming in for 2.5 years total, one season on the dam work, and then one season up top. We have traffic controls that we've worked out. We'll actually put a signal up, we'll show you the other part of the site, we're putting a signal up there to kind of, the traffic control is probably the biggest challenge here.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be turning that into like a single lane during the construction of this?
So,
I don't know if we get into it here.
I don't know if it shows it on there, but what the intent is, and as Paul mentioned, some coordination with Rich Manzetti and the planning board and whatnot. It was recommended to us that we do the roadway construction at night. So the bulk of that work will happen at night. At night, there'll be alternating one-way traffic, and controlled by signals at
Okay.
either end of the dam. During the day, it'll be back open, free flow. Sometimes it'll be on a gravel surface as they're building up the road bed, but it will be two-lane traffic during the daytime.
Okay. How much, you might be getting into that soon, but how much fill are you bringing into this?
A lot.
Yeah, it seems like it.
I apologize, I don't
lot of
have the
Tonka
exact
trucks.
volume. I think it is in the paper, in the,
So then let me ask you a question, because you're the DEP, right? And I'm gonna assume you're disturbing more than 5,000 square feet of earth. You're going to submit to yourself a SWIP, or submit to to you as well as to us, a copy of your SWIP?
Correct.
yes, the SWIP was included in our planning board submission. I'm sure we can get a copy to you as well. But that was reviewed and approved.
By
previously.
Rich?
Through Rich.
Okay.
Good.
Or well, it was approved by DEP, it was submitted to Rich as part of the planning board submission.
Okay. And then on I'm just gonna ask some simple questions. The reservoir side with the road, you're gonna install erosion controls and floating booms, silt fence, floating booms, stuff like that in the reservoir, right?
Yes.
And that's shown on the plans?
Yes, in the plans, we do call for silt fence at the top of the slope, adjacent alongside the road, right behind the guide rail. And then we are gonna have a turbidity curtain installed, floating boom within the reservoir as well.
Okay.
I assume details have been provided of that, the turbidity curtain that you're gonna be using and all that?
Yeah, it should be.
Should be, if it's not in one of those sheets, we'll definitely can get you the sheet that includes it, but I believe it is. I have to check this with.
And then you folks are also gonna take, again, I've done work with DEP in my line. You're gonna have certificates of clean fill for all the material that's being brought in.
Yes. Yeah, in our specifications, we have very specific, particularly for the fill to be placed on the slope of the dam, it needs to be pretty, very specific fill for the structural components.
You're not using armor rock or anything, you're just using regular fill?
It's basically regular fill it is regular fill on the entire slope. The only place where we will have some larger stone, riprap and stone, is the drainage channel
The swale.
along the one side where the drainage is coming down from the roadway into the bioretention facility.
That bioretention facility is new? It's gonna be newly constructed?
That is a new one, yes, it is new. So that's over here, this corner. So that's a new feature that we're adding in, because of that drainage that we're collecting from the
Right.
roadway and to handle that volume.
Speak to the wetlands.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, so within the site, so there's 3 distinct wetlands. The larger one that you see, so it may be a little hard to see from where you are, but again, the roadway, Route 6 is at the top of the page here, and then the base of the dam. This smaller wetland right there was created basically at the toe of the slope between a temporary access road, kind of impounding the water there, and it became a wetland area basically. That is going to be essentially removed because we can't really have water perched at the base of the what there is right there, there's an existing pipe that goes to a weir box that under drain where it drains out. That pipe is collapsed, we need to replace the pipe. So that's the only area where we'll disturb into the jurisdictional wetland. And then the wetland over on the right-hand side of the page there, what we're gonna do there, we have a temporary site access road to allow the contractor to access the work area from both sides. As it stands right now, there's an existing access road that comes in from the site off the Drewville Road. And then there's a staging area that's used by DEP maintenance right now at the other side. We're gonna temporarily connect that with an access road, which will come down and it'll actually go over the top of where the wetland is. We're gonna place a separation before we place any fill. When the construction is done, we'll remove all that fill, remove the separation, and the wetland will still be there when it's.
All right, so let me ask you a question. The wetland to be removed, what's the square footage of that?
I believe it's noted in there, I don't have it offhand.
All right.
I would say it's about 200 feet long by about 15 feet wide or so.
All right, so what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to find a home to recreate that, either on that little one to the right or the big one at the bottom. Right? Because we're trying not to take away wetlands, right? So just, you know, I'm not going for a 2-for-1 mitigation. I'm going for a 1-for-1, okay? Because you have a very large area there at the bottom, and then you have that other little one there. So if you want to split it between the two of them, I don't have a problem with that, okay? But you have to go 1-for-1. That's a DEC wetland, right?
Yeah, I was just gonna mention, we've got DEC permits, right?
They said you could just,
Yeah, but.
well, it's a DEC wetland, required wetland.
Still in our jurisdiction though. It's in our town.
They didn't stipulate,
They didn't stipulate anything?
not in terms of replacement.
Did you give me these steps in here?
I think there is a copy of the DEC permit at the back, it's towards the end. Should be after those five copies of the.
The SWIP? Got that,
So there's
approved.
a copy of the permit.
Zoning map, permits and approvals.
I mean, we can certainly check back with that, I mean, I'm interested, I want the answer too, but, you know, with our secret review, like you're saying, usually, you know, we remove a wetland and.
You're right, when you
That's
remove
right, so
one,
I
yeah.
can't know those answers, because I'm curious myself, how it was dealt with in the environmental review and what we said to that effect, you know, why we didn't.
Yeah, because I know from
I got you.
past, it's, you know, 2 pounds of flesh, you know?
Yeah, well, sometimes in some projects, it's more than, you know, 1-to-1. Right, and I'm just wondering what we did here, what the reasoning was, we didn't have it.
I think because that area was,
Became because it was is that a non-regulated DEC wetland, or is that was just?
Yeah.
exactly, it's not.
The only thing I'm gonna ask is you find that, just clarify that area,
Yes.
okay? Clarify that area, because this is gonna have to be noticed anyway, right? So please notify, and from the road, the 100-foot buffer, could you just show me that again?
So the wetland buffer, it is noted on there.
Oh, so the road work is not being done in the buffer.
Correct, the road work will be outside.
Everything else will be
Most
inside
of
the
the rest
buffer,
of the work on the site is within a buffer.
Or within the
buffer
wetland
that's
itself.
shown
or within
in
the
plan
wetland
is-
itself.
Between the three of them, it's pretty extensive.
Okay, what do you do with the machine storage at night? Where do you put your machines at night? You have a staging area?
Yeah, so at the right-hand side of the page there, that current maintenance access road and whatnot in there, that's gonna be a contractor staging area.
Because the reservoir is
and
considered.
Likely, the contractor would also have some machines at the base of the slope, since that's where they'll be working most of the
And what about, all right, so See, here's the thing, when we're we're in the buffer or in the wetlands, at night, we like to have the equipment stored on 6 mil poly. Hoses break, machines leak, right? So we usually like, if you store things within the 100-foot buffer or the wetlands, they have to be stored on 6 mil poly. They have to be placed on 6 mil poly, okay? Do you have spill kits on site?
Yes.
And what about fueling?
Fueling plan.
Fueling plan?
That I don't think, we don't have one set, I don't believe it's specifically called in our spec.
Well, they're gonna wet nozzle anyway, so they'll bring an oil truck and load them up, but I would like to have a designated area where you're gonna be fueling in and around, when you're especially near the wetlands or the buffer. I would like to really avoid fueling up in the buffer. You know?
Or the wetland.
Oh, yeah, thanks. I mean, my voice of reason over here.
Outside the buffer, but in the wetlands, okay.
Yeah,
Right,
sure, of course.
you got it.
No, we got you, no, that's just important for us, so that's something we definitely will incorporate. There's a lot of room on the site.
No, I understand that, but I mean,
Yeah.
but the last thing is you don't wanna walk a machine up and down the slope to give it fuel, right? Typically, they'll park close to where the machine is, they'll drag the hose over. I mean, I know the guys are,
Oh, yeah, no,
Yeah.
if we don't tell them they can't, they will.
all right, and then the area that you're working in the wetland to install the new drainage pipe. So you're gonna restore that, you're just gonna excavate down, replace the pipe, put it back and call it a day? I mean, that's not a lot of work there, it's a,
Right, that's the intent.
Couple days worth of work.
Set aside the top layer of soil, whatnot, excavate, it's relatively shallow, they don't need like a trench box or anything like that for their construction. It's
and then they'll just restore it with wetland mix?
Right, we do have a grass mix that, for the site that's part of our planting plan, or our seed, our seeding.
Okay,
Trees.
we're
do you
getting, we're getting there.
Yeah.
So there's multiple sheets here that show where the tree removals are. The tree removals are essentially along the sides or the groins of the dam. The reason we need to remove them is that they're within the clear zone from the slope. There's a DEC limited 20-foot clear zone that must be maintained. There's trees within that, and then now that we're adding some fill, the clear zone pushes further out. So there's some removals there. There's a few removals at the base of the slope adjacent, we're in the area between the two wetlands. Again, to facilitate the work at the base of the slope.
So you're looking at a total 78
There's
trees.
a total of 78 trees altogether on the site. The other location is, we're gonna remove a few, I think it's on the next sheet, maybe Paul, at the site entrance where you come in from Drewville Road.
Yeah, there's one I said we didn't touch on, off of Drew Ward Road is where the entrance to the site is, and we're doing some improvements because we recognize that trucks will be coming in, so we had to widen this out so they can get in,
Make the
and the
turn
problems.
in there.
We're gonna have a traffic light over here, we worked out with the town, but this is gonna be built up so that we can improve this entrance. And like you said, the tree removal.
There'll be a few removals there. Once the work is done, they're gonna remove the hard surface, go back to topsoil, in that raised area, and replant trees within that area that's been disturbed.
Do you have any idea how many trees you're going to be removing?
78.
There's
78.
78 total, I think, on this particular location, there's 17 trees, and this is at the site entrance, there's 17 trees there.
Total 78.
We're going, I don't know if I have
And how are you removing them? With the big equipment, or they're gonna go in with chainsaws? Tree
It's
harvest?
cheaper. No, I mean, they use the tree removal.
The tree
equipment.
removal equipment,
They've
all
also, I
right.
mean, some of them are small, so they.
Now, do they require, because they have a planning board approval, they don't need to have a separate tree cutting permit. I don't believe so.
It's not
It's a
a,
development. It's approved by the planning board.
right, but planning board approval doesn't necessarily preclude tree permit. It's only when it's a site, when they're doing a subdivision. I thought, I could be wrong on that.
I might be mistaken, but I think my understanding in our discussions with Rich is that with the site plan approval, it would encompass.
Compass, yeah,
Okay.
that's what I thought.
the permits.
That's what I thought. I could follow up on that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Not that it's just another application.
Where's my,
You guys got plenty of money.
We can handle one more application.
I just have a tree.
So
I
this
just have-
is showing the temporary, the traffic signals again at either end of the dam and then the second to help, a little bit improve the safety there.
Now, this dam is not in any danger now of letting go, is it?
Yeah, it's all local, shallow, slope, because what we think part of what happened was, as they, rebuilt the road over the years, they steepened that upper part and made it unstable. So, because they kept basically going.
They didn't take into consideration the angle of repose
Right.
of the road.
It's basically this upper 15 feet of the dam right adjacent to the road. It's just extremely steep. You come off and then you get onto the normal slope of
And
the
if,
dam
and if you
itself.
go out there and drive out there next time, you'll see that all the not only the railings, but even the utility poles are tilted.
Tilted.
And the pavement is all cracked and everything. I think they did a little overlay, but it's all been cracked. Like you would see the slope kind of giving. Besides, we've been taking measurements on down the slope and seeing.
I mean, did you guys think of doing like maybe some injection grouting or just grouting just to stabilize that top 15 feet? And then just, I'm just-
Because we're bringing up, basically we're bringing all the material. It would
No,
be
I
a-
understand. You're
it would be
using
another
it-
way, right, but because we're bringing so much material in.
you don't need
It's
it.
kind of stabilizing it, but redoing the roadway, so it's kind of all dovetailing into like a new.
You know, you wouldn't think about even throwing in like a sheeting wall, a Z sheet along that edge,
Right.
just to maintain the, because if you have enough, again, I'm not,
Well, I guess-
if you put in 40-foot sheets or 60-foot sheets from the road, I mean, it's a big rig, and you could drive them straight down, still maintain the stability of the road, and then you don't have to worry about all that fill and everything else, but the only thing that you may cut is that, that discharge pipe at the bottom, if you drive it deep enough.
Yeah, that would be a challenge.
Yeah, I think some of the concern as well as like the vibration, it is an earth dam and whatnot, and the vibration from setting pile and whatnot might be a bit of an issue there. And also the pile would tend to, I mean, there is some natural flow, seepage flow from the high side to the low side through that earthen dam and through the
All
core.
dams leak, and you kind of gotta let them leak.
Okay. It's good to know. I'll call you the Dutch boy. How many fingers you got?
It won't be the first.
How many fingers you got?
Dams, yeah.
78 trees being removed. How many are you guys planting?
I don't, not certain if I think I have it on this sheet here. It's not that many because we're planting in the area where we're removing and replanting. There's 17 being removed there. We're planting at least that many in that area.
Mhm.
But there's other areas where we're not replanting because of that clear zone, essentially.
Can you just give us a total number of trees?
I may have to follow up.
Yeah.
I think it's, I'll follow up with you.
The closer you to get to the 78, the
If it ain't
happier we'll
happening.
be. I know, I'm just saying.
Or you could throw some trees somewhere else to make
That's
up
what
for
I
that
mean.
wetland you're killing.
That's true too.
Just throwing it out there. The what? The bioswale?
Yeah, there's some plantings there, not trees, but there's plantings.
All right, anybody
Maybe a
else
little
have
bit
any other
helps.
questions?
Wetlands inspector.
Did you have the wetlands flagged? Have you had the wetlands
They were
flagged?
flagged a while back.
Are they on the map? What's a while back?
I think it was a few years ago, yes.
All right, so let's refresh the wetland markings, okay?
The flags that were taken at that time
Okay, and then the other thing I'd like is, could you go to the picture with the red dots, the one with the, showing the wetlands? All right, for the very large one, for the area between the road and the edge of that wetland, every 100 feet, I want wetland markers, Town of Carmel wetland markers. This way people know that there's no building in this area, just it identifies as a wetland marker. And for the one on the right, again, the area between the road and the wetland, every 100 feet. Okay?
So on the smaller one there would be, well, just I guess between,
You got two sides to
between
do.
the dam and
Between the dam and the road. Between the dam and
the dam and
the
the
top, the edge of the wetland, yeah. Just their wetland markers, Town of Carmel wetland markers, this way they, identify the wetlands in the future, this way, not that there's gonna be a development on it and stuff, but,
Who
let
knows who
people-
will own this dam in 100 years?
Who knows, but maybe it'll be you,
Maybe.
It's for sale.
Heard there's a bridge as well.
so.
Is there does the,
Rose has it.
Rose has them,
oh, okay, as far as like a,
yeah,
It's a little placard.
yeah, details, Rose has it.
And the wetlands inspector, pre and post erosion measures? Do we need Rich to
Let
go
me
out?
put it, no.
Okay,
You're gonna have a,
they are.
Construction management firm,
well, who's the construction management firm?
we're selecting them right now, so we're in the process
Yeah.
of it.
You can't say.
There was a stipulation.
And as part of their firm, the CCM firm, I would have them have a wetlands inspector on that firm. So this way,
What was that special title that was that?
environmental specialist,
Yeah, there is something in there that's, I'm wondering if it covers that or not, we'll check.
There's a,
Yeah, we have the ecologist, I think, we'll check.
now an ecologist is different than a wetland inspector.
Specialist, okay.
Because again, I'm only looking for that is because, just to make sure that when you're working in the wetland and working on and around this area, that, they know at the end of the day how to put this, make it right, right? So, and then you also gonna have to have somebody on board to monitor the SWIP as well, right? And that's the contractor's
Yes,
responsibility,
I
did
mean,
see that.
the licensed,
the license.
verified person that's in charge
Right.
of that, yeah. Yeah, when we get a wetland specialist, we can make sure we get that.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be a full-time.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's
It
what
doesn't have to be a
it's for.
full-time thing, it could be, the first 3 months of the project, and then when they do this area, but they should have a firm on board that they can verify the wetlands. Now, the tree removal, real fast, and then we'll move on, is this, there's certain periods of time you can take the trees down.
that's in here.
Restriction.
It's in the restriction.
Bat restrictions,
Yep,
You know, multiple
specifically about that. It was in here.
They run on schedules.
It's
Apparently.
November 1st to March 31st. Any tree cutting outside this window is strictly prohibited.
when is it?
November 1st to March 31st.
Oh, look at that, they're coming right up to the end.
No, and I'll tell you, it becomes a challenge because, we don't really control well when we,
I know,
when
it gets
what I'm saying?
awarded.
So you want to do it in time, so they have time to get to the tree cutting. If you lose that
Then you're done.
opportunity, you can lose time, yeah.
Yeah, I
So-
know.
So they have, you're not starting this until, this project isn't starting until November? Is that right?
Yeah, late at the best.
Probably the end of the year.
Okay,
At best. We have challenges to come still.
got it.
Money.
No, the money's there, it's our procurement rules.
Yeah, I know.
I think the permitting's gonna be fine, but, we got bureaucracy.
No problem.
I am well aware of bureaucracy. All right, so does anybody have any other questions? Okay. So do I have a motion to accept the application for 34 Drillville Road to the DEP for site plan to restore the road with the following conditions? Provide a copy of the SWIP to the board and make sure Rich gets review and he signs off on it. Show silt fencing and turbidity curtain along the road and in the reservoir. And this must be inspected by your wetland inspector after it's been installed. Provide, make sure your contract has certificates of clean fill in it, okay? Spill kits on site, fueling plan, provide us with a fueling plan. Give us a copy of the grass mixture you're planning to use for the restoration of the wetlands. Total number of trees to be planted upon completion of the work. Install wetland markers on, as discussed. You could give me a quick little site map of where you're gonna put them, just to, so we have it for the file. And then I want the wetland flagging for the wetlands refreshed. And then you're gonna check on, and you will, and the other condition is that you need to check and give me the paperwork for the wetland that you are removing.
Right.
That you have, and how you're going to either mitigate it, or you have the blessing from the DEC to eliminate it.
Gotcha.
Okay? So do I have a motion to accept the application with the following conditions?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, you're on the clock. And then, just get me that stuff. Rose will not be able to advertise on Tuesday unless you get it to her by Monday. So if you can get it Monday, great. If you can't, you miss a week, and it will be advertised the following week. And what you'll do is the best is a scan to her, and then she sends it to the board here. We look through it real fast, and we give it a secret handshake.
Appreciate it.
All right?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It looks like a good job.
It is, we've been
Fun.
talking about it for a while, but finally gonna get going. We're anxious to get this going.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make sure I don't get any lakefront property over there. Okay, last item is minutes. We can't do it because Nick and Nicole were not here. So we'll put this on hold, okay? So with that, do I have a motion to close the meeting?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good night. Good night.
You.